Welcome back to the Guitar Temple. Glad you're here, and as always, is it real? Could it be that the genius fusion guitarist, gunslinger, the great Tina S, female guitarist, probably the world's best, one of, right? One of, a world-class prodigy talent. And you can see a video that I made called Pretty Prodigy here, Guitar Temple. But let me tell you, I hope it's real. Is it real? I'm checking it out. But there's a lot of fake stuff, like you're seeing all of a sudden Lionel Richie's dead and buried, you'll never see him again, and Dwight Yoakam, the great country singer, dead and buried in his grave. Well, I know Dwight Yoakam's alive and well. I'm positive of it. You can buy tickets tomorrow if you want to. So a lot of people want to get numbers by saying these things when it's not positively true. I know with me, if I was to put an album out, that album would be available on every place that you can think of. For example, it would be on Amazon. You could buy the album from Amazon. Spin Twice with Tina S, her new band, Spin Twice. Is it for sale on Amazon? Well, I just checked and it's not for sale there. Is it her? Well, there's a lot of editing that can go on. I know that's her famous Vigier guitar. It looks like her face, it looks like her. Is it her guitar playing? I only heard 8 seconds of it. So I need to hear her playing guitar. Master musicians will know by just her technique. I says, yeah, that's the same girl we all love and admire. You know, like you listening to Steve Vai, and you see a junior of Steve Vai, you're gonna say, hey, that ain't Steve Vai. You know, looks like him though. You know, so could be. I hope so. I always said, I told you that she would be taking a break, but they always come back because it's more a religion than anything else, isn't it? So she went to the recording studio, as I had said before. So let's see if that's what she was working on all this time. So coming up at the Guitar Temple. But today, let's talk about the great blues guitarist. We already did Gary Moore. Let's take a look at somebody whose guitar tone I love more than any guitar tone on this earth. And I think most people are in search of that guitar tone. The great David Gilmour, Pink Floyd. Let's take a look at David Gilmour.
Well, you climb on the piano.
Yeah, exactly. It is a matter of sort of waiting until something strikes you, and that can be a tiny little moment of magic. It can be an external sound or something that you write, create, which tend to sort of just pop into your head at strange moments. And you know, these days, with the wonderful modern technology, everyone carries a recording studio, a video suite, a communication center in your pocket. And so everything I do, or that strikes me, I can keep a record of and then go back to and work on later. So there's a lot of mucking about in the studio with tiny little things that appeal to me in one way or another. people are aiming music at people of my generation, and that's fine. I haven't got used to it sufficiently well to love it the way I love putting an album on and playing one whole side and then the other whole side, and getting obsessed with them. You know, it kind of used to be one album at a time that would obsess you for a month or something, and then something else would come along. And I'm a bit set in my old-fashioned ways when it comes to that.
The solo, of course, became a kind of fetish, didn't it, in the 60s?
Yeah. Yes, Pink Floyd and many, many other people did solo on for hours. You know, we did do. It's a lot of fun to do, and I can't quite imagine being in the audience and listening to it.
Guitar is not just an instrument, but as a sort of part of your personality. I mean, there is something about it because it is something you hold close to you. It's a very physical relationship, isn't it, that you have with that instrument?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is the way that some of us express ourselves best.
I rarely speak to fans of Pink Floyd, but that is what I'm doing now. First of all, thank you so much for all the lovely comments that have come back after the band and I put together that version of Mother. It was a lot of fun to do, and it reminded me how much I miss them. And no, it's not Dave Gilmour, it's Dave Kilminster. Dave Kilminster, who's the guy with the black flowing locks sitting on the sofa playing the electric guitar. Why is this video not available on a website that calls itself the Pink Floyd website? Well, the answer to that is because nothing from me is on the website. I am banned by David Gilmour from the website. About a year ago, I convened a sort of Camp David for the surviving members of Pink Floyd, a hotel at the airport in London, and where I proposed all kinds of measures to get past this awful impasse that we have and predicament we find ourselves in. It bore no fruit, I'm sorry to say, but one of the things that I asked for, I suggested that because whoever the 30 million of you are who subscribe to the webpage, you do so because of the body of work that the five of us created. That's Sid, me, Rick, Nick, and David. And in consequence, it seems to me that it would be fair and correct if we should have equal access to you all and be able to share our projects and blah and blah and blah and blah. David thinks he owns it. I think he thinks that because I left the band in 1985, that he owns Pink Floyd, that he is Pink Floyd, had nothing that really, I'm irrelevant. and I should just keep my mouth shut. But there have been rumblings and grumblings in the ranks, I'm told, by friends of mine who follow these things. And some of the questions being asked are, why do we have to sit and watch Polly Sampson for year after year, month after month, day after day? And the Von Trapps reading us excerpts from their novels to get us to go to sleep at night. And that's a very good question. And yet, we don't get to hear about anything that Roger's doing or about this is not a drill, or when he makes a piece of work, it's not shown, and so on and so forth. And none of his work is publicized. The fact that his and Sean Evans' film, Us and Them, which has just gone out digitally for streaming everywhere, is not mentioned. There's no mention. We're not allowed to even mention such a fact on the official Pink Floyd website. This is wrong.
Somehow people must be free, so help the day come soon. Will you please come from Chicago, show your face?
From the bottom of the ocean to the mountains of the moon, won't you please stand up in London? No one else can take your place.
You can change the world, rearrange the world. It's dying, it's dying.
Collecting guitars, when you're young and you're starting off, there are all sorts of reasons for all sorts of guitars. You're always looking for a new sound, and being disorientated on an instrument often gives you a new inspiration. And that led me into becoming a bit of a collector. I never quite meant to become a collector of guitars, but that's the way it sort of panned out. Many of the guitars in this sale are guitars that have given me a tune. So a lot of them have earned their keep, you might say. So that fell out of this guitar in the control room of number 3 at Abbey Road in 75. The very first time I went to the States, which was sometime in 1968, TWA, who were transporting our gear, lost my Fender Telecaster that my parents had given me on my 21st birthday, never to be seen or found again. And so I had to go out and buy a guitar, and Manny's was already legendary, so I went to Manny's on 48th Street. Yeah, it's like a kid in a sweet shop. These guitars, they've given so much to me. It's time for them to move on to other people who hopefully will find joy and perhaps create something new.
By 1985, Waters had left the band, citing creative differences. As soon as Waters left the band, a legal battle ensued. Waters attempted to dissolve Pink Floyd in a court case by invoking the leaving member clause in his contract. Gilmour, however, argued that the band should continue and that Waters was being overly dramatic. David Gilmour and Nick Mason were two members of the still active Pink Floyd, and they took the necessary steps to continue the band. Gilmour's response was to continue making music, and these two men opposed the claims of Roger Waters. They stated that Pink Floyd would not fold and that Waters couldn't declare it dead as the group was still making new music. The legal battle dragged on for months, while Waters eventually coming to an agreement with his former comrades. This agreement forced him to resign after careful legal considerations in 1987. Although at the time Waters was extremely bitter about the whole ordeal, he did recognize later in life that his attempt to dissolve the band had been a mistake. "I was wrong, of course I was," he said. "Who cares? It's one of the few times that the legal profession has taught me something." Not only that, but Waters went on to say that he had learned a lot from the disagreement. He mentioned that he had actually gone to his former bandmates and asked them to dissolve the band, but they had reminded him of the importance and commercial value of the Pink Floyd brand. Though Roger Waters might realize now that he shouldn't have tried to dissolve Pink Floyd, he still harbors some resentment towards his former bandmate. In 2020, he released a 5-minute video on Twitter commenting on the fact that Pink Floyd didn't allow him to access their social media channels. Waters might be vocal about his disagreement with Gilmour. The two still cross paths. They both joined forces in 2005 to perform for the charity Live 8 and again in 2008 for One Night Only. It's clear, however, that these one-time appearances haven't changed the feud between the men. Even though they made nearly $150 million from the performance, they didn't even consider doing a tour together. Despite this ongoing tension, there's still hope that the two men may one day reconcile. A few years back, Waters made an effort to reach out and make peace with Gilmour, although he was unsuccessful. He invited Gilmour to a hotel at Heathrow Airport in London for a peace summit, but he refused. If they can eventually come together and put aside their differences, then maybe one day their fans will see them perform together again. Until then, though, it looks like the saga between Roger Waters and David Gilmour continues.
And there's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. And let's hope that it's true about the great Tina S, the great genius guitarist, the gunslinger, the genius of the French guitarist Tina Setkic. Album Spin Twice. Is it real? We'll find out. I'm going to check it out for all of you. So let's take a look at the next Guitar Temple. And I'm glad that you like the fact that I'm putting on the more melodic players. We appreciate the scale runners if you play it clean, clear, crisp, and tight and happy, because it's something to be admired. It's gymnastics. But here, like the last couple that I've done, Don Feldman, more of a tasty guitar player, right? Something you can sink your teeth into, something you can chew on. The great blues musicians, David Gilmour, Gary Moore. But David Gilmour, to me, has got the best guitar tone in the history of music. Personal opinion. Well, all right. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Press the share button right there. And in the description below, you can leave a tip if you wish to. There's a tip jar there. By the way, if you're interested in getting a guitar, any guitar, okay, good, a better guitar, a best guitar, good, better, and best. There's a list below that I have researched. And for a guitar player who wants something new and doesn't want to do too much research, these are the guitars you're going to want. They're good for the price point. They're better for the price point. And some of them are just the best that you can possibly buy. Good, better, and best listed below in the description. You can even see the video of the information about the guitars. So if you're looking to buy a guitar, go to the description below, okay? And do the thumbs up, because it does help me. The algorithms help. Till next time, I'll see you here at the Guitar Temple. I see they got my paycheck has arrived.